Hi guys, so this is the movie poster tutorial in Photoshop. So you'll be turning in a scary movie poster, but first I'm going to walk you through sort of how to do it. We'll do a couple of these, but this is a very simple movie poster that we'll be throwing together using a couple of elements that I found in unsplash.com. So if you want to find the directions for this tutorial, they're on misspollardphotography.com. And they're under today's date, which is October 19th. So you'll go to misspollardphotography.com, find digital photo design, and head to the blog for October 19th. You'll see instructions that look like this, step by step, for what we're about to do. And some of this you can use when you turn in your own poster as far as the dimensions, and you can use some of these tools that I'm going to show you today. And if you have any questions at all about this tutorial, please just shoot me a message. I'm happy to clarify anything. Also, if you're watching it on YouTube, feel free to slow it down if I go a little too fast. So I'm going to head over and share my screen. Give me 1 second. And excuse the sound of the street outside. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. All right, so we're going to find the elements for today's tutorial in your digital photography design course. Under October, you're going to find the assignment movie poster tutorial, and you're going to download the elements here. I'm actually only going to have you download 2. I changed my mind about one of them. So you're going to open up this one here, the woman's face, and I got this from unsplash.com. And you're going to download this other woman as well. So you'll need those 2 girls for this tutorial. And then we're going to head over to Photoshop. I'm going to open it on up. It's going to tell me I need to update my browser. We're going to go to New File. New File here. When I click on New File, these specs pop up. The preset details that we're going to need for our movie poster are 13 inches by 19 inches. So I'm going to have 13 for my width, 19 for my height, and 300 pixels per inch. So plug in those dimensions into your preset details. Everything else should be default and should be fine. RGB color, 8-bit transparent. You should just leave all of that, but you can double check that your screen looks like mine. And this is all, again, on your instructions here, which you can find on misspollardphotography.com. And we're on step 2. And we're going to hit create. Once we hit create and we have our canvas pulled up here, we are going to head on to step 3, which is select all. So I'm going to come up here to select and go down to all. You can do that, or you can do the shortcut of Command A. And what that's going to do is put our marching ants around our canvas, selecting the entire thing. And what I'm going to do next is step 4. In this generative fill box, which we used in our last assignment, I'm going to try to generate a haunted house. You have to be a little bit specific with your generative fill prompts. If I just put in haunted house, chances are I'm going to get a sort of cartoony looking house, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to type in real old haunted house. I'm going to see what pops up. And it's going to generate, and it's going to take a second because it takes so long. Here it goes. Bam. There it goes. Okay. And it's given me some options. These aren't terrible. If you don't like the options that you have, you just click generate again. And I'm just going to click on, I'm going to choose, I don't really like any of these. I am going to generate one more time, see what it comes up with. Let's see. Any day now. Here it comes. I don't know if that's any better. I kind of like this one. Okay. I'm going to keep this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and go down to step 5. We're going to add an empty layer. And the way we do that is we come here to our layer panel and we click right here on the addition symbol. And that's going to generate an empty layer right here. And I want you to think of the layer panel again as stacks of photos. I have my first photo of my haunted house. Now I'm going to put another photo on top of it, and I want that photo to be entirely black. So the way I do that is I go down to step 6, and I'm going to head over to Edit and Fill. And when I click that, I get these options, and I'm going to stick with black. I'm going to fill that entire top layer with black. And I click OK. And again, now imagine I've got my background of my house and I've got a paper that's just black on top of it. I want to reveal the house underneath, but I also want to keep a dark portion at the top for my title to pop and a dark portion on the bottom for my billing block to show up. So I'm going to take my eraser tool right here. And this is step 7 if you're following along on the directions. Take my eraser tool. And when you click on your tools here, you're going to notice that your toolbar pops up here. And with my eraser, I'm going to just kind of go over the middle portion of my house. And I have it at 100% opacity. But then I'm going to change my opacity a little bit, bring it down to like 15% so that I can keep it dark, but also remove some of it. And that's good like that. Again, play with your opacity right here, which is the strength of your brush. I really want the middle of my house to show. So I would erase that at 100% opacity right here. But then I want to keep some of that black up here so my title pops and some of that black down here. So I lower it really, really low to about 15%. From here, I'm going to flatten my image. And the way we do that is we come to our layer panel over here. You're going to find those three lines right there. We call it the hamburger. I'm going to click on that and you're going to flatten your image. And again, when we flatten an image, it's like we're compressing all of those pieces of paper together into one. From here, we're going to start adding the elements of the women, our characters in the movie. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. And I'm going to open up this woman here. And I can size her down. I'm just going to place her somewhat in the middle. We're trying to create sort of a double exposure effect. And if you look on today's blog, if you look on the Padlet, we have a lot of examples of movie posters, and they do double exposure on almost all of them. And double exposure, again, is where you have 2 images together. One of them has a very low opacity. The other one is at full opacity. And they sort of blend together. So I'm going to show you a really cool technique, a really easy technique to achieve that double exposure. From here, we're going to create a mask layer for that woman. So I've got that woman selected. And now I'm going to go ahead and create a mask layer so that we can alter that image. And that mask tool is right here. It looks like a little camera. And when I hover over it, that dog pops up. When I click it, you're going to notice that this white box pops up next to it. That's the mask. And from here, I'm going to apply that double exposure technique. So I'm going to use my gradient tool. Gradient tool should be familiar to you. It's right here. When I click on it, this menu bar pops up. And there are a couple different ways to do a gradient. Again, a gradient goes from light to dark. We're going to choose the radial gradient, which is going to go light in the middle and dark towards the edges. And as you see, the icon's right there. And I'm going to click in the middle of her face, and I'm going to drag out. And what that does is brings forward that image, but I don't get the harsh outline of the edges. And I still get that really cool double exposure effect. If I pulled it all the way out, it looks like that, but I just want to pull it out a little bit. And again, this gives you that double exposure sort of movie effect. I'm going to place, again, I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to pull up the other woman. And she's facing the wrong way. I want her to face the woman who's looking this direction. So I'm going to flip her. And I'm going to do that right here by clicking here on the flip vertical. I'm going to size her down just a smidge. And I'm also going to apply a mask to her. And again, the way we do that is by clicking on her layer and then clicking on this mask tool right here, which again looks like a little camera. Same steps as before. I head to my gradient tool. I head up here to the radial gradient. I click on her face and I drag out. And again, it just gives that cool double exposure effect without having to actually go through the steps of double exposure. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and flatten my image because I have it kind of as I want it. I like to flatten a lot, just condenses it, makes me feel less chaotic. So from here, we are going to add the title of our movie, a tagline, 2 actor names, a coming soon, coming in October 2023, and a billing block. Photoshop does not have the greatest fonts. Their typography is kind of lame. So what I really want to recommend for you, especially for your own movie poster when you turn that in, is to head to this website called DaFont. And this website's really, really cool. And this is all step 16. And I know this feels like an extra step, but I think you're going to like what you find here. When I'm in DaFont, there are a ton of different themes. So click on themes. And this is all free fonts that we can add to Photoshop. So if you go to Fancy, they actually have a horror section of fonts. And it's just kind of cool. Again, I really like this one here. So choose one that you like. I'm going to go to download. I'm going to save it. And you're going to notice it downloads as a zip file. And I'm going to click on that. Where did it go? Give me one sec. Ghastly Panic. There it is. I'm going to double click on it and open up that. It doesn't seem to want to open up for me. Where did it go? It was called, gosh darn it, I'm not helping you much, Ghastly Panic. So I'm actually just going to search Ghastly Panic. There it is. Once you find the file you downloaded, hopefully you find it easier than I did, you're going to open it up. I'm going to click on where it says TTF. It's going to open up this little menu right here, and it's going to say install font, and I'm going to install the font. Now I have it across all of my applications on my MacBook, but most importantly, it's in Photoshop now. So I know that was a little bit of a detour, but it's something I'd like you to utilize. Again, Photoshop's fonts are kind of lame. So I'm going to go ahead and go to step 17. I'm going to click this text feature here. And there's a lot of really cool features here that we're going to go over in our next tutorial. But for right now, we're just going to click on our poster. I'm going to type in spooky house. I know it's lame. And I can choose, I have this cool font that I downloaded from DaFont called Who Asks Satan. I can also change it to the one that I just downloaded, which was Ghastly Panic. And I can change the color. Remember, when you're choosing a color, you can hover over any piece of this canvas and copy the color that you find there. I am also going to change the size of my font. Obviously, it's not quite big enough. I'm going to make it fairly big. And I'll know it's center because I'll see those pink lines pop up. Let me see that. Almost had it. And where is it? It's so close. There it is. Spooky House. That's the stupid name of my movie. I'm also going to add a tagline. So my tagline would be enter if you dare. Your tagline should be smaller than your the title. Not that small. Not that small. Maybe a little bit bigger. Enter if you dare. That's my tagline. A tagline is just to give you an example. When I was a kid and Child's Play came out with the poster of Chucky, the tagline was "Wanna play." So it's just a brief little sentence or a brief little blurb that has something to do with the movie. So I have enter if you dare. I'm going to go ahead and come down here and say coming 2024. And put that somewhere down here. Again, now you can kind of see why I wanted those two darker portions on the top and the bottom so that you can see this font. And I'm going to add my billing block. And you're probably thinking, oh man, I don't want to type in all of the stuff from the billing block. You don't have to. On today's blog, again, it's misspollardphotography.com. You're going to head down here to movie poster practice. I have it for you. All you have to do is copy and paste. And here are the directions that we're going over. Here is what your final product should look like for today. Here's the billing block. I'm going to highlight it. Command C is your copy for a MacBook, or you can just copy like that. And here I'm going to click on my text bar again. I'm actually going to draw a text block. And I'm going to choose a regular boring font. I'm not going to use my Ghastly Panic font. I'm going to choose a very small font and I'm going to copy and paste. I'm probably going to turn it white as well. The billing blocks tend to be white. And I'm going to check that my alignment, if you check right here, is centered. And that's pretty much it. You could add starring so-and-so and starring so-and-so. And that's kind of what I did on my finished product right here. But for the most part, it's sort of done. And we're going to get into how to really change up the typography next time I see you. But for today, this is a very simple movie poster that has everything that I'm asking you to include. Again, I would add starring. So I would be like, I don't know, Yuri Leon, it's one of our students, and Brendan Hutchinson. There's another one of our students. I would add the actors' names, and that would kind of be it. Easy peasy. But if I look at it, I know it's a movie about a haunted house, and I know that the two lead characters are female. And I can kind of get the feeling that it's a spooky horror movie. That's it. Done and done. So you're going to flatten your image. If you look at my layer panel, I've got all of this going on. I'm going to come back over here to my settings. I'm going to flatten that image. I'm going to go to File, Save As. And the cool thing about MacBooks, and we're getting used to them, and you can just name this movie poster, is that it tells you where you're saving it to. I'm saving it to a desktop, and you want to verify that your format is JPEG. So JPEG. If you see anything else, it's because you forgot to flatten your image. So press save, and then you're going to go ahead and submit, and that's pretty much it. So like I said, I'll walk you through a couple of these movie poster tutorials. We'll do a couple different techniques, but fairly simple. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Feel free to shoot me a message in Schoology or through the contact form on misspollardphotography.com. That's it. Have a great afternoon. Bye.